Good morning or good evening, whenever you're watching. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome to the Sports Talk Network channel. Specifically, welcome to Talking Packers with Steve, my NFL podcast, here for its finishing up its eighth season. Been doing this since 2010. As I always say, since 2010 for my football and wrestling podcast, Steve's Wrestling Ramble and Talking Packers, though the Ramble was first. Its inception was earlier in 2010, then started my NFL one in September, of course, with that season, the 2010 NFL season, and haven't stopped since then. First, I was on Blog Talk Radio, part of a network over there, the LIII Sports Network. So I thank them and the people still running it for giving me a chance. Kind of a guy on the street, and they picked me up there and did my shows there. Now moving into YouTube and having both my shows here on YouTube. So again, I just wanted to share that to new viewers that are watching this NFL show, just like I did my intro for my wrestling show for new viewers each and every week there. So talking NFL, I usually like to talk about all 32, but it's going to be different tonight because it's a Super Bowl, and it's not the opportunity to talk about all 32. More of at least four teams, the two teams in the Super Bowl, and me and my guests teams that we cheer for, because our teams are not in. As you can see by what I'm wearing, Rodgers jersey. Hey, Rod, we didn't make the playoffs, let alone any sniffing the Super Bowl this year. So a lot of changes have been going down in Green Bay here in the frozen tundra. But anyways, before I ramble on about my own team, let's welcome my guest of honor. Let's welcome Conrad. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing well, Steve. Thank you for having me on. I greatly appreciate your audience watching the stuff here. And I am actually a Buffalo Bills fan, but I'm wearing one of my backup teams, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Got some gear on. It's a little bit cold here in Buffalo, New York. Freezing outside right now, blizzard-like conditions, but we're making it.
Making it so as we're here, the polar vortex, I guess that's it is, or called or whatever, happening here in Wisconsin. Yesterday and today we had wind chill advisories. Yesterday was minus 40 to minus 60 wind chill. Today it's a little less, minus 35 to 45. So I guess an improvement. So when people come at me people in the southern states of their coldness of Florida at a high of 40 degrees and freaking out about that, then come to Wisconsin and see how we're doing today. So, kind of thing. Though again, different areas they're not used to that or not, you know, um, it's different to them. So it is cold to them. But point still is, people from our areas, New York and Wisconsin, we don't need to hear that noise when we're dealing with blizzards and freezing temperatures. Just all due respect. But anyways, moving right along, let's talk about our NFL teams. The Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills, a team that went to four straight Super Bowls back in the day, didn't win any, and because
I
of
knew
that
that was
fact,
coming. I knew that was coming.
and because of that fact, and they kind of even talked about this on First Take this morning on ESPN when they were talking about rings and who's the best and this and that quarterbacks. Jim Kelly and other quarterbacks and how he's compared. He isn't compared, he isn't talked about as best quarterback in the NFL or in the conversation because he went to four straight and lost every single one of them, where others may had a 500 record but still are someone on a pedestal because they do have a ring. I mean, you have my two quarterbacks, Brett Favre, the gunslinger, and Aaron Rodgers, the football machine, like Kurt Angle, the wrestling machine. So on my quarterbacks, one Super Bowl championship. Now Brett took us to two in a row, but we lost to Denver in the second one, Super Bowl 32. But anyways, let's talk about the Buffalo Bills. Your thoughts on the Jim Kelly conversation of not being in it because of that fact, the four straight losses, and your team currently. Like, what are your thoughts on the 2018 season and your hopes for your franchise in 2019?
That is a loaded question, my friend, but very interesting. Let's start with the old school Bills teams in our heyday. I was a young kid back when the Buffalo Bills were going to all of these Super Bowls and they were winning. If you look at my kindergarten graduation picture, I'm actually wearing a Buffalo Bills AFC Champions like sweatsuit with a Hulk Hogan wrestling buddy. Now, when you think of that Buffalo Bills team, is Jim Kelly one of the greatest? I think he's one of the more underappreciated quarterbacks in the NFL. Same thing with Dan Marino. There's a lot of people though who are not remembered as much as they should be. Warren Moon's another one that comes to mind. A lot of guys from that era were really good and just don't get the proper respect. As far as that Bills team goes, I feel a lot of them could be Hall of Famers. And the beauty thing about it is being from Buffalo, I have ran into them in so many different places, whether it's at an airport, a restaurant, and those guys are always so nice, very cool. From Ted Washington to other Bills players, like they're all just always good guys, very cool to hang around. I've never seen any of them really act like jerks with anybody in any interaction. Um, yeah, but props to Thurman Thomas, Bruce Smith. There's a lot of guys from that Bills team. It pains me to know that we never won a Super Bowl. Scott Norwood, I'm looking at you. You probably feel good because this is like the first season in years where you could blame another field goal kicker for screwing up everything. But yeah, I absolutely like my Bills, and I think that's a Hall of Fame class. But I think in Buffalo we put too much into that, and we need to figure out how to rebuild. And I'll transition that into talking about the current team. I don't know what happened. Like last year, we made the playoffs. Yes, it was by luck because of the Bengals. Thank you, Cincinnati. We appreciate you. But I don't know, dude. Like, I just don't know where to start. We had so much like BS happen this year with people retiring in the middle of games, and you're not going to get your name said because you were in a commercial making fun of it afterwards. Also, we had injuries. We had Richie Incognito go down for some stupid stuff that I don't even want to get into. And you knew he was going to claim he was crazy after that. But the Bills need to figure out how to rebuild. I feel like this season was a disappointment for me for what I expected from them. And I just wanted them to be a little bit better than where they were. And I was disappointed with what they did with the quarterback situation, too. Like, we had someone who we were giving a shot to. We had nobody who was a veteran quarterback this year at all. Like, we were screwed no matter what. And then eventually we had to pick up Derek Anderson and a couple of these other quarterbacks that we had come in, Matt Barkley. And these guys came in, they tried to do their thing, but what's Derek Anderson's 35, Matt Barkley's 28 at this point. They weren't ready for the spotlight. And Josh Allen, I think, stuck out the most to me this year. He's someone who I have a lot of hope for. And I actually got to meet him before he started playing for Buffalo. After he got drafted, I happened to be in the same area as he was, and he was signing autographs for everybody. And I was just like, listen, you better get his autograph now because that kid is not signing autographs once he gets back, once he meets his manager and everything else. Josh Allen was very cool, and I absolutely love Edmonds as well. Great draft picks by the Bills. I thought they did a tremendous job with picking the future for the team. We just have to figure out what we're going to do for the gaps where we have issues. And where I see issues for the Buffalo Bills are our wide receiver core could use some work. Zay Jones is probably the standout out of all of them. I was very disappointed with Charles Clay this year, and I don't know what we're going to do with him or what the problem was. I'm not there behind the scenes, so I can't really say, but that's an issue. And I feel our offensive line is a huge liability at this point. We have to figure out how to block better, especially if we're going to keep LaShawn McCoy on for another season. He couldn't get anything started this year, but at the same time, who's blocking for him? And it's sad when Josh Allen has more rushing yards than you. With that being said, disappointed this year, and I hope that we do much better next year.
Yeah, I know last year with your team, finally snapping a record of its own, finally making it to the playoffs and getting there. I thought maybe this year either an improvement or the latter improvement of just making the playoffs again and going from there and having that rookie quarterback and Josh Allen and being able to continue to trend in the upward direction, kind of like the Cleveland Browns have, a franchise that have been, in the shitter for years and not doing anything, kind of being the laughing stock. Now, that's not the case in Buffalo, but I mean, Cleveland, as they always said, if you get to play the Browns on the schedule, that's an automatic W for you. So, but, for the Buffalo Bills, I thought this season things would just keep improving and maybe make the playoffs again, maybe even go a little further and make a bigger impact, and maybe be eliminated in the divisional round, and that being a stellar year for your team and franchise. So, I was projecting and assuming that kind of improvement with the rookies that you guys got. Again, not just the quarterback, but other ones as well that I can't think of at the top of my head. But I know at the time I was thinking, Nate Buffalo. When I went to the Buffalo Bills, when I went through all 32, that these other players too that you got, it would make a difference and would help in the continual growth of the franchise. And get you guys having that chance to maybe even reaching or stepping the Super Bowl in a future life. So I definitely thought that was the sky's the limit for the Bills, and being able to get that accomplished. Obviously, you would want that too. Now, as for the Green Bay Packers, I've been honest about this. I was born in 1988, so all my life I've been lucky to have great quarterbacks, or at least most of my life. The early 90s, I guess, weren't the greatest, but still, from my childhood life of the 90s and otherwise, having Brett Favre, and then transitioning to Aaron Rodgers, and always being in the mix for the playoffs, Super Bowl contenders, this and that. Kind of our own dynasty, but in reverse to what the Patriots are, what the Cowboys were in that time. In the reverse, meaning not so many championships, but always in the talks to make the Super Bowl. With the odds in the beginning of the season. So talking about, I guess, the Packers of old. Brett Favre. His first pass was to himself. And his first game against Cincinnati, when the Magic Man, number 7, Don Mikowski, got injured, went down, and here comes Brett Favre, or how Coach Glanville called him in Atlanta, Brett Favre. Brett Favre comes in, rallies us back. We get a win against Cincinnati in that game, and we see the gunslinger that we know and love. And for me, I'll always be a Brett Favre mark. He'll always be my number 1 in Green Bay. I do rep the Rodgers jersey, but Brett's the number 1 in Green Bay to me. Not saying I loved how it ended, but I do respect him that he wanted to keep playing. The Packers, though, had to move on as a franchise, and they both were stubborn bulls, by the way. And if the Packers weren't going to give him the opportunity to continue playing, then he has all the right to go to another franchise and keep playing. And even had the right to, after going to the Jets, being in your division there, and playing with the Jets for a year, then coming to Minnesota and wanting to get back at the Packers. I respect and understand that, because, to be quite honest, the competitor in me, who never played it like a football, whatever, but still a competitor in me in general, would be thinking the exact same thing. Wanting to, in the right way, get back at the team that kind of threw you aside. So I understand it. Not saying I loved it, but that is what it is there in regards to Brett Favre. I also remember that game after his father passed away against the Oakland Raiders, and literally anything he threw, people caught. It was amazing. I think he had like 6 touchdowns in the first half or something like that. Craziness. But now to this Packers, to the 2018 Packers, to the Aaron Rodgers Packers. Defense. Our cornerbacks. And one of the interesting things that happened this season, beyond cutting a player because of his fuck up, sorry, but had to be said, and sending him to Baltimore, and then also Ty Montgomery, number 88, and then Sean Clinton Dix, you get rid of him. He goes to the Washington team. He goes to Washington, and still we just can't tackle. I don't know if our defensive coordinator doesn't know how to teach us that, because literally anytime we go after a player, they just slip away. Like, we can't fundamentally tackle them. I don't know, it's just weird. I mean, there's 32 teams in the NFL. It just seems like Green Bay doesn't know how to do it. And also, offensive line needs improvement. And that's why I thought it kind of was wrong to let Mike McCarthy go when he went and when they fired him, and having Joe Philbin as their interim head coach, and blah blah blah, and seeing and maybe Aaron's being egotistical and wanted to get Mike out and got him out sooner. Who knows, right? I don't know, and if I said I know, I'd be lying because I don't know, but it seemed that way, and it kind of upset me. I say in the past that if Aaron Rodgers wasn't on my team, I might not like him as much because he does seem a little extra egotistical than other quarterbacks in the NFL. But maybe that's what makes him great. Point being is that was a little low class in what the Packers did in regards to Mike McCarthy. They should have let him finish off the season because we weren't making the playoffs anyways. Okay, and it wasn't exactly totally Mike McCarthy's fault that we're losing these games. I would also say and venture to say Aaron Rodgers deserves almost half the blame as Mike got. So there's that. Now heading into the 2019 season, Coach Matt LaFleur, he's assembling his own roster of coaches. I think he just got the offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, part of the team. So that's cool. I know that news came down last week. But as for the team and as for the outlook, hopefully for another good season. I mean, you have Aaron on the team. He came back from the injury from the week one. He got injured in one of the early plays in week one against Chicago. And I'm like, oh, crap. Our season is over before it even starts. Right? We're looking forward to this season. Think it's going to be great and awesome and whatever. High hopes. Mike McCarthy can get things done. There's already talk about maybe Mike going, getting rid of Mike after this season, heading into this season with this past offseason in 2018 because of how the 2017 season went and blah, blah, blah. So heading into it thinking, okay, this is going to be a good year. Aaron gets injured. They cut it off. And I was texting my best friend. I'm like, well, my season's over. Aaron comes back. We beat Chicago. Aaron stays for the rest of the season. And yes, we didn't make the playoffs, but he still played each and every week. So kudos to him. But for 2019, him being well rested, him being ready to go, this franchise, the new head coach, maybe a new philosophy, game plan of team organization, that things will improve in all aspects of the game. But it's still players need to play. And I call upon the defense and specifically the cornerbacks out there of the Green Bay Packers to step up their game and get their, together. And if they're able to do that, then this team will be able to go far. But like I said, it wasn't all on Mike McCarthy, and again, it also wasn't all on defense. It's a team sport, right? So all aspects of the game, which include Aaron, it's not Mike McCarthy's fault that he threw air balls too high to the ground in some of his passes. So I think the 2019 season will be a good one, and hopefully we'll be at least in the playoffs. And you never know. You never know. Teams turn around just like that. The Jacksonville Jaguars last playoffs were a half away from defeating the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. So who's to say that a team that's trying to build a team that's now into a quarterback in their sophomore season there in Buffalo, that the Bills can't turn around? But then again, you still the Patriots, and if the Patriots win this Super Bowl this weekend, this Sunday, Belichick and Brady are still going to be there in the AFC East. But the Bills could get a wild card, and the Bills could make some noise, just like the Jacksonville Jaguars did when they came from out of nowhere, having a great season, making a run in the playoffs where no one thought they would, let alone first get into the playoffs, then making the run, then making it to the AFC Championship game, and losing to Tom Brady and the Patriots. Right now, that was a great season for that franchise. This year, not so much, but still, for Buffalo, but maybe for Buffalo, that could be the case next year and the following year. Point is, could be one season we have Green Bay versus Buffalo in a Super Bowl, and that certainly would be an interesting one for sure. But that's kind of, we're transitioning now from our own teams to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl matchup we have this year is the LA Rams against the New England Patriots, the mighty Patriots. Tom Brady trying to go for his 6th ring, their 11th appearance. So, you have that franchise. You have the LA Rams and their young coach, Sean McVay. You have a stacked defense with Dante Fowler Jr., Aaron Donald, and Ndamukong Suh, former Detroit Lion, on the LA Rams. And of course, yes, the quarterback Jared Goff, but more so than the defense. So it's Brady versus that three-headed beast in LA. Jared Goff against literally New England Patriots defense, the best defenses in their history, let alone NFL history of this season, how the Patriots defense has been. So how things are going to go, who's to know? But what are your thoughts heading into the Super Bowl? We've heard on TV shows and other aspects of media of others' thoughts. What say yours? What are Connor's thoughts heading into this Super Bowl 53? LA Rams, New England Patriots.
First, New England. They're a thorn in my side because they play in the AFC East, and I have to see them twice a year. And they are probably the main reason why teams like the Dolphins, Jets, and Bills haven't been making the playoffs when we were on our little droughts. New England is a team that I dislike very much, but at the same time, I cannot discredit them. I have to show some respect due to their longevity and how long they've been able to succeed. With that being said, though, they're playing the Rams, and the Rams are a team who haven't been able to get it together for quite some time. Their last few years there in St. Louis looked like a struggle, and they've been able to, with a great quarterback and adding some great pieces, including Robert Woods, former Buffalo Bill. They have put some people together on this team, and they have made it tremendous. And as I like to use on Twitter, hashtag tremendous, running this playoffs. Now, I know some people are going to say the Rams don't deserve to be there. I am 100% behind all of the Saints fans because I know that was a controversial call and everything else. But you know what? They were in there. It was a close game. The Rams can't even think about that at this point. The only thing that needs to be on their mind is winning and how they have to keep control of the game at all times until the clock hits zero. Because if they don't do that, New England's always in it. And I'm going to give you a weird football analogy. This is how I know if you have a good team or not. When I'm playing a team and they're down with 2 minutes left, let's just say, and they're down 10 points. If the ball's in the Buffalo Bills' hands and we're up 3, I'm nervous. If the ball is in New England's hands and they're down 10, I'm nervous. So that's the kind of team that I want, and that's the kind of team that I want to build around. I would like to see a team like that in Buffalo, but we're not ready for that yet. New England has built themselves up. I don't know if you know this. I'm almost the same age as you, Steve, and I actually went to high school near where Rob Gronkowski originally went before he transferred the senior year. Yeah, he was at the rival school for my high school. I didn't play football either, though, for the record. But I have seen him play. Rob Gronkowski he's a bad boy, man. I'm telling you. I think he's nearing retirement. Same thing with Brady and Belichick and all them. But they have a lot of weapons on that team. The play calling is masterful. Tom Brady, you think he's old. The guy still got it. And I know we're tired of seeing them there, but I think it's going to be a heck of a game. I think it's going to be a show of who's the better team. And I think the Rams can beat them if they play their cards right. And this reminds me of a matchup that I saw. How many years ago was that now? 15 years ago at this point?
Yeah.
Was it 2001 they met? See, I'm starting to get old.
Yeah, no way. We both are. But 2001, yes. Yes, 2001, because I remember that. Again, I equate my, how I remember things with wrestling, because I remember WrestleMania 2000, one of my favorites, and then 2001 with the NFL stuff. And then the Patriots Rams, because when the Patriots faced the Rams the first time, that was the birth of a dynasty. Tom Brady and the Patriots up against the greatest show on turf: Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Kurt Warner, and everything. So, and just as a side note, even though this has nothing to do with the game, but still a side note, I really, and trust me, I was really pulling for the Arizona Cardinals to beat Pittsburgh in that Super Bowl and Kurt Warner to win a ring with Arizona, and for Larry Fitzgerald that season. But it came up short. Pittsburgh got the W. But anyways, it's going to take a lot to beat the Patriots, and it's not going to be a thing where the Patriots are going to beat themselves, is what I mean. You're gonna have to just outwit and outmatch that team. You're gonna have to outcoach Bill Belichick. You're gonna have to outcoach Josh McDaniels. You're gonna have to outcoach all of them. And you have to bring your best in A games or have those tricks up your sleeve like Philadelphia had last year. You're gonna have to have something to really get them. Otherwise, they're gonna get you. And if you're not focused enough, they're gonna get you good. They're gonna get you good like the Seattle Seahawks got the Denver Broncos good and crushed them into the ground like 43-6 or something, whatever that goes.
I lost a lot of money that day. I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, see, I actually enjoyed that because I was cheering for Seattle that day, and for me, whether it's the Packers getting blown out or blowing a team out or any franchise, I enjoy more lopsided victories or defeats than close games because if my team's getting their butt kicked, then it's just they're getting their butt kicked, or if my team's kicking some team's butt, then awesome, okay, good. It's less stressful either way. Um, but still, point being is you gotta have something more. You gotta truly bring it, truly have what it takes to dethrone the Patriots. I mean, the Patriots are this good for a reason. They have this dynasty for a reason, and it started back in 2001. My question is, though it's not really a serious question, but something that I've been thinking about as I've seen with their jerseys and that opening night on Monday night, with that new thing they do now, opening night instead of the Wednesday media day. Because remember, we're, I guess, old guys, and I remember when they had media days on Wednesday, right? I think it was Wednesdays during Super Bowl week, media day, and each person had their own booth and this and that. And I was kind of like that, but it's called the opening night. A cool little fancy title. In that way. But either way, for me, I always like to see when they have the opening night. I get to see them with their jerseys and the Super Bowl emblem. I'm a visual guy, so I care about that stuff because I think it looks pretty and blah, blah, blah. And then I also look forward to when they unveil, either on Twitter or however they do it, like they do for WrestleMania. Triple H and Stephanie once unveiling what the set was for WrestleMania. I like when they unveil the field of what it looks like. Now, you kind of have an idea because you've seen Super Bowls for the years, but just for me, again, as a visual person and me loving that stuff and enjoying looking at this, look visually and aesthetically pleasing to me, seeing when they unveil that again, either on Twitter or somewhere and whatever, and I retweet it and look at it, stare at it, blow it up, little things like that because I'm just weird like that. But I look forward to that because, just seeing how it looks and stuff. But back to my question before I keep rambling is Rams. It's 2019 now, 2018 season. You do have a new logo. You do have updated uniforms. Why are we wearing throwbacks? Why does it look like we're wearing throwbacks for the Rams? Like, this isn't week 7 of the season where it's throwback week. So it just is kind of weird to me. Again, it shouldn't matter in the whole scheme of things. Doesn't mean they're going to win. Doesn't mean they're going to lose. But it's just a weird aesthetic thing visually for me. In that way. So I guess just to ask you, A, do you care at all? And B, do you subscribe to the notion in the Super Bowl that experience does matter, or the inexperience at the Rams side could be its saving grace with not been there and can really go there guns a-blazing and not being afraid? Like, which side is the better option? You have the pedigree of the times you've been in the Super Bowl like the Patriots, or this is your first time here, Sean McVay and Goff. Which one is better?
All right. First, I'm going to start on the uniforms. I don't think the uniforms matter at all for what people wear. I actually prefer when teams do things like wear a uniform that they haven't lost in all year. Like maybe a team's undefeated at home and they want to wear the home uniform on the field, and they have that right to, and they get that obligation to. That's cool. I really like that a lot. I don't think the uniforms matter. I think it's the mindset that they go out there and play with. And that leads into your next question of what is better, the experience or to not have the experience. I personally am going to go with being able to go out there and be a little bit wild is actually a good thing. And they're going to have to do that. I think it plays into both sides. So let me put it like this. I think a lot of the Super Bowl games that New England has lost, is because they've been experienced. Sometimes they've been lackadaisical a little bit because they've been there so many times. At this point, if you're someone who's been on New England for a little bit, would you be nervous at all after you've been to 2 or 3 Super Bowls? I mean, you're just like, it's another game, baby. It's time to win one so I can take a break after this. That's how they see it. But if you're the Rams, you have to think of going back to that Super Bowl with the Patriots and Giants. Eli Manning went out there and he has the formula. I don't know what it is, man, but they were catching passes off the helmets. They were unorthodox and they were just playing football basically. It didn't matter. And they ended up getting the victory twice over the Patriots. And I think that was because of being unorthodox. So if I had to choose, just because I'm a New England hater a little bit, I got to go with the unorthodox side.
Yeah, part of me would go on the unorthodox side because of you're fresh, you're relaxed. Some would say that would be a negative because you're not used to the grand stage of the Super Bowl, and the Patriots are, extended half times. Like those little things do matter more than uniforms, but matter in a sense of planning and understanding and knowing of that stuff, right? Of extended half times, longer, even sometimes longer breaks with Super Bowl commercials and stuff. So those little things that somewhat matter in the preparation or you're used to, because in regular season it's usually 10, 15 minutes for that halftime break and then coming back for the second half, where this one's extended with the concert and halftime shows. So that being its own thing. So some people would say it's a negative being rookies to it, experience, but like you said, being on that end is a positive. I think for me, I would probably go more so on that side as well, because let's just me putting myself in that position. If I was Jared Goff, if I was Sean McVay, I would be celebrating having this opportunity to A, on the Patriots, but also B, being in the Super Bowl, being your first one, and literally being able to do whatever you need to do. Always being focused with the game, and as for game plan, not being afraid, not being worried, entering it as each game, and with that kind of mentality, even without having the experience of the Super Bowl, still helping you in the sense of what needs to be done, and what it takes to be a champion. You have the belief and experience, limited experience within the season, of course, that this team can get it done. So you're not afraid of your opponent. You're not afraid of the situation. You're not afraid of the moment. You're relaxed. You're focused, and you're hungry, and you're ready to go. So I see on your end as well that I think that is definitely being the advantage, being the rookie than being the veteran, that's experience. But hey, it's gonna be the tail of tape. It's gonna be a battle of blitz. It's gonna be a battle of offense, defense. It is. It's gonna be interesting to see how this chess game, that is a football game, goes between the two franchises here in this Super Bowl. And if we dissect it a little bit more, just a little bit in regards to the battle, and specifically, we'll go with the cornerbacks and the wide receivers. We got the Patriots, and then you have Julian Edelman, you have Gronk at tight end. Then, of course, you have Tom Brady as a quarterback. You have some other 3 and 4 wide receivers. I think they even, if I'm not mistaken, a rookie wide receiver is going to be starting in the Super Bowl as well. With the Patriots, you never know who can be that MVP, who can be that breakout wide receiver, because Tom will throw it to whoever's open. But for Patriot wide receivers versus Rams cornerbacks, who do you think has the edge in that one?
You know what? This is gonna sound really weird. Am I doing both sides right now?
Yeah, sure. In that matchup battle, yes.
All right. Well, I think that everything plays to the wide receivers in this game, as odd as that may sound. I think you have to look at all the guys you said, the Gronkowskis, the Edelmans, Robert Woods. I think whoever has the better wide receivers is going to play a big factor. Or if you look at it from that way, if the offenses can equal out on the wide receiver side, it may actually come down to whose defense is better and who can shut down the other person just a little bit more. Um, but like I said, it goes back to the unorthodox. I've never seen Robert Woods play in a Super Bowl game. How's he going to react? Is he going to be even faster than he normally be more reserved, and they're not going to expect that either. You don't know what to expect, but I think this is going to come down to wide receivers if I'm a betting man.
Yeah, I would say that too. But then part of me also would say probably more so than the quarterbacks on the defensive side, especially in regards to the Rams against Patriots. Rams defense, Patriots offense, my receiver core. Then, or in that regard, as much as Patriots defense, Rams receiving core. Because this game may be a tight game, maybe a gunslinging game. However it be, the defense is going to be the ones that step it up. A defensive play is what's going to win the Super Bowl for that team. That's what I mean. Either team. So I think in the matchup specifically, I probably would go Patriots wide receivers advantage over Rams quarterbacks, Rams wide receivers over Patriots cornerbacks. But in the end, as really any game goes, the defense will win the championship, and a defensive turnover or stop is what's going to end the game. And I think it would be really a turning point in the game. We had that Super Bowl a couple years ago with the Falcons and the Patriots. The Falcons are up 28-3. Patriots stormed back to get the win, starting with the defensive play because they needed one to get back in the game. And they did. And then things just started out to unravel for Atlanta and just started to work for New England. So I think in this Super Bowl, that would be the same. Whatever the situation or circumstance is, a defensive play is going to be either the turning point or the dagger for the team to win. I think that's going to be the case in this regard. And then defense will win the championship for the said organization. So it's certainly going to be interesting in that regard, specifically. Now, with everything and with the opening night on Monday night, I had a lot of interesting comments by players in regards to the Patriots on their send-off, talking about they're going to go kick the Rams' butts at the Super Bowl. And the Rams and that cornerback that was part of that controversial play against New Orleans, him talking trash, talking about how Tom Brady is old. He respects him, but, he's not the same quarterback. But, he's this and that. What do you think that stuff matters in the game? Like, do you think that's just more for us media? Or more for us media, or more actually is bulletin board material, whether it's Patriots players saying about Rams or Rams saying about Patriots?
I think it's to sell tickets personally. It's just trash talk going back and forth. It's to put some eyeballs on the television set. And maybe that's a little naive of me because I am a wrestling fan just like you. And we know that brings the eyes to the set because I don't want to hear two people say how nice and how much they respect each other. I want to hear, I'm going to take you down. I'm going to show you why I'm the best and why I do what I do. But as far as that goes, yeah, I think it's just all talk for talk's sake.
Yeah, but I'm not going to say I don't get sucked in sometimes. I'm not going to lie. I do.
You get lost into the magic of it all.
Right. Like you hear a zinger and you're like, oh, dang, Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I have that reaction sometimes, because it's just, I don't know, just how I am. And maybe that side of me is a little bit gullible, but still, you just still enjoy it because of me being a WWE fan or us being a WWE fan. And at least for me specifically, that stuff is interesting and entertaining and like, oh, cool, good one. I mean, heck, Gronk, he might be in a WWE ring sometime, but in the future. But in regards to it, yeah, I agree. I think it's more so, specifically to answer my own question, I think it's specifically more for the media than for the players, more for us, media or us fans, whatever. For media to talk about, like for me, been talking about the last couple of weeks or a couple of weeks on the podcast, or just for fans talking about around the water cooler at work. Did you hear what this guy said or that guy said? Now will Tom Brady throw 10 touchdowns because of it? Or it's this and that, the things because of, what was said, how will that impact the game? It probably won't, because when the game gets kicked off, you're focused on the game and you're already pumped and ready to go to beat the other team's butt and win, no matter what was said in any aspect leading up to the game with the 2 weeks to go. So sometimes it's just stuff for the media to fill for their shows, right, to talk about it for 2 weeks, than it is really for the players to give them extra oomph, extra motivation, like they need it. Like they really need extra motivation to play in the Super Bowl already, So I think they have all the extra motivation that they need. Now, with the Super Bowl, and I haven't been able to attend one. My father was lucky enough to be at the Super Bowl in Dallas when the Packers did win Super Bowl 45 against Pittsburgh. But in regards to that aspect of it, I know we just talked about how the trash talking doesn't matter, but all these side things, tickets, family, this and that, do you think that has any factor, maybe not on their gameplay, but on preparation for the players? Especially again, we talk about rookies versus veterans. Tom Brady's been doing this, gone to 11 Super Bowls. I'm sure he knows how this drill goes with family and tickets and blah 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 on that side of things. Then Sean McVay and Jared Goff. But do you think that plays a part of any stress? That they already have stress levels in the game, or doesn't it at all?
I'm a big fan of the yin and the yang in life. There's good and bad with everything. And personally, I feel that it could either be a motivation for someone or a distraction at the same time. Imagine you're Todd Gurley and maybe you're out there and you have your wife and your daughter and you got all this other stuff going on around you and you're stressed out, but you know you're playing the game for them. And maybe you put too much pressure on yourself to compete that day for them or to win the big one. And at the end of the day, there's never going to be any shame for these guys for the game they played. But we know when it's Sunday and it's time for the big game to be played, everybody wants to win. And that's all. This is the most watched football game in the world. And it probably will be the most watched football game of all time, just because of it's New England. They have built their brand up. Everybody knows what they're going to get. At the same time, you have the Rams, which has that feel good rookie kind of story. They're the underdogs in all of this, and people love to cheer the underdogs as well. There's going to be Super Bowl parties. People who never watch football are going to care about football for one day, and it's kind of weird to watch that. You know what I mean? When you've watched every week, and you're like, "Do you even know what's going on with this, or why this is happening?" They have no clue, but they're there to watch it.
Right. Yeah. Someone at the party, either someone's girlfriend or someone's boyfriend. Right. It's not just females. There are guys that don't watch it. So sometimes you have people at the party that are there that may not know, but they're just there either with their significant other or they're because they're friends of yours or whatever that may not know a lot about it, but just being there to party. And it is the Super Bowl, so say you're at a Super Bowl party, whether you're a big fan or not. So I get what you're saying in that aspect. Because I myself am going to have, of course, family and one friend coming over, and we're going to watch the game. So a little party here. Um, so that'll be fun. It's always nice to see him. But in regards to all that, yeah, it's gonna be something interesting. I also look forward to the halftime or not halftime, the commercials, the Super Bowl commercials.
Love them.
See which ones are the best and whatever this and that. I know it's kind of our tradition between me and my mom. We want watching the commercials and then at the end pick have each of us picking their favorites. So little stuff like that. But beyond that, the Super Bowl and it's the biggest thing. I think the two biggest demographics that are going to be watching this Super Bowl, in my opinion, are first Patriots haters. You'll be watching. You want the Rams to crush them into the ground, win 62-2, and just beat that smoke face off Brady. So that's one. Then your other demographic that I think is going to have the highest percentage, if it actually was quantified in a pie graph chart, would be LA fans, period. The Rams back in LA in the LA market, you're back into that big city, back home in a sense for the Rams. So simply just for the Rams and their fan base back in LA, watching as well. And really number 3 is St. Louis, Missouri.
That's what I was just gonna say.
And it's just almost as much with Patriot haters. We got St. Louis. Your franchise leaves St. Louis, goes to LA. Now they're going back to the Super Bowl. And when the last time they were in the Super Bowl, which is has been brought up during these 2 weeks, obviously. That's when they last played themselves. And then they played the Patriots. On top of it, they were the St. Louis Rams. Now they're back and they're not the St. Louis Rams anymore. They're the LA Rams again. Where we go back to the 70s. So, for the city of St. Louis, I think that would be number 3, at least on my list for the demographics, the uncharted or unchecked demographics of Super Bowl viewers there. But number 1 definitely is Patriot haters, because I certainly have talked to a plethora of them. Let alone I know a couple of guys that are Patriot fans. We met Malik on the wrestling podcast. Malik Millie Kelly, Narcolepsy Boy 94 on YouTube. Check him out. Millie Kelly, he is a diehard Patriots fan. Joe of the Joe Cronin Show is a Patriots fan, WB guy. Um, an ex-girlfriend of mine that I dated when I was in Hawaii, she's a Patriots fan. So I know a plethora of Patriots fans as much as I know haters, but I think that's the number one. So I guess to ask you, to throw it to you, get Conrad's take. What do you think your three, your two, or whatever number, quote unquote, markets or things you think are going to be of viewers watching this year's Super Bowl?
I think you hit the nail right on the head as far as who's going to be watching. I think you're going to have, I guess I'll go in a different route than you. You're going to have a lot of people who know nothing about football, but everybody's got a dog in the race. And I would say it's going to be about 70% of the people cheering for the Rams and 30% cheering for the Patriots. There's always going to be a couple Patriots guys in the room. My best friend, Derek, shout out to him if he was watching this. Um, he was a huge Patriots fan, even during the Bledsoe era. Like he used to have a lunchbox, I remember, with that stupid George Washington logo with them on. That's when they sucked. I'm like, this team's garbage, man. Get out of here with this. But that was always his team. I know guys who are Dolphins fans, Jets fans, and I just laugh at them too, and they probably laugh at me. But there are going to be a lot of people pulling for the Rams, but you're going to have your Patriots fans sprinkled in there as well. And I think that a lot of people are just going to go with the underdog. As I said before, it's a feel good story. How could you cheer the guys who, some of the guys who came from the Bills, or this kid who got drafted? He worked his way into this. Tom Brady's been given everything, even though we both know that's not true. He kind of walked into the same spot. But that's the story that people are going to want to perpetuate, and that's what people are going to want to believe while they're going and looking at these demographics.
No, definitely. I agree on that aspect and the way that you took the question. Very nice. And I was just going to say, with regard to Bledsoe on the Bills, or not the Bills, Bledsoe on the Patriots. I remember when it was Brett Favre versus Bledsoe in Super Bowl 31 in New Orleans, 1997-96, the 96 season, 1997 of January. Packers beating the Patriots that year, 34-25 or something like that, getting the win there in New Orleans, and Green Bay getting the win, Brett Favre getting his ring. So, and Reggie White having a dominant performance as well, the late Reggie White. But anyways, for me, I even said it in a tweet, I think on my personal handle, I said in a tweet that I really don't care who wins. If the Rams win, we have the young, fresh faces. We have Jared Goff, and we have Sean McVay getting rings, and that's good for them. They're a team that, in a sense, came out of nowhere in this season. Jared Goff looked like crap. They thought, people were saying Jared Goff's a bust because how he was before Sean McVay got there and everything the season prior. And then Jared Goff becoming this Jared Goff with the new head coach, Sean McVay. So if they win, cool. And for me, the Patriots win. Honestly, if I'm being real, if I'm being 100, as people say, I'm gonna enjoy seeing the Patriots win because of the reaction. Literally, the reaction of people, Twitter, sports shows, me, my own reaction when I do this show next week. When I have this very podcast next week talking about the Super Bowl, the New England Patriots won, whether they won by a field goal again or by 30 points. The reaction. And really, that's really what most of those shows on ESPN and other networks are about. They are characters like Stephen A. Smith and others. Skip Bayless, Rob Parker. But anyways, the reaction if the Patriots win. I think that's the sole reason, if I'm being true to myself, that's the reason why I wouldn't care who wins this game. Either the Rams win because they're the up-and-coming team, they're the feel-good story. They're the faces in this matchup. The Patriots are the heels. You got heel versus face. Vince McMahon loves this stuff. You heel versus face. We have the Rams versus the Patriots. And like you said, who would want to cheer for the big bad Patriots? And for me, because I have friends, two friends and an ex-girlfriend that are Patriots fans, I'd be happy for them and give them congratulations texts and stuff after the game if they win. But if the Rams win, I would be happy too. So I'm going to enjoy my party, enjoy having my friend over and other things and family, friend and family, and just enjoy the game. But if the Patriots win, I'm going to be glued to a television Monday morning watching those shows. So I'm just saying. People's reaction on Twitter that night, this and that. Though I'm sure a lot of people's reaction, first off, would be, I want Brady to retire right now. I was sure Bills fans, Jets fans, and Dolphin fans want Brady to retire too. So, those franchises in the AFC East, the Buffalo Bills, the New York Jets, and the Miami Dolphins would want that to be the case if he wins. But again, let's just throw it to that question. If the Patriots win, if Tom Brady gets his 6th ring, what does Connor say? Does Connor say Tom Brady will retire after this season? Or do we go on the notion that with his interview he had with ESPN saying zero chance that he would?
I don't think he retires if he wins. They've been so dominant. What's going to stop them from making it again next year? I don't see it for Brady. I think, now I'm going to tell a bad story that you're not going to like here.
All right.
I think what Tom Brady needs, if you guys ever want to see him retire, it's a name Brett Favre will probably never forget. Arthur Moats. I know you probably remember the hit because it was against us.
Yep.
And
I
excuse
do.
the language here if any kids are listening, but that was the you need to lay your ass down hit. That was the you're done, stop doing this, or I'm gonna have to put you down. And that's what Tom Brady needs. He's very protected still in the NFL. And I get it, he's their cash cow. He is a top performer. You don't want anything bad to happen to your top guys. I get it. But Tom Brady's not going anywhere. I just got that feeling. I think, how old is Brady at this point? Do you know off the top?
I think he's 44, 41.
40.
And he wants to play until he's 45, so and that's 4 more seasons, so 41.
I think he'll make it 3 to 4 more seasons. I think he'll be able to play that long.
I think he'll play that long, not just because of being able to, but again, back to what I said, talking about Aaron Rodgers' ego. I think him and wanting to keep playing, though in a good way here with Brady. And that's how the Patriots have been able to be so good. If I want to equate it with my own franchise, the reason we haven't been able to be improved is because we weren't able to go out and get free agents that we may have wanted or may have wanted to come to Green Bay or may have even taken a pay cut to come to Green Bay to play with or alongside Aaron Rodgers, depending if you're a defensive player or offensive player. Point being is because Aaron Rodgers wanted to be the highest paid quarterback. He got that money. Yes, he earned it too. He's a great quarterback. But in doing so, you strap the team for cash to be able to get free agents. And what Tom Brady has done in his past contract negotiations is bargain for less and take less to stay with said franchise that he knows will pay him back in having and getting other players, signing other players coming to New England, which whether they'll take a pay cut to come there or not, but still saving money in the cap space, pay him back with commercials and other things. His wife makes, this they're all millionaires, so their family is set. So in that regard, I think that's the difference between, just specifically with the Patriots and Packers, is that Tom Brady taking that pay cut and thinking of the greater good truly for his franchise than for Aaron Rodgers, who, again, I don't know, but it seems like it looks like that he wanted to get the most money, wanted to be the highest paying quarterback, if not the highest paying player in the league. Okay, good for you individually, but that's still going to hit your team. And we won't be able to do and make the moves that we may have been able to make the team better and make the season better. So, that being its own difference. And that's, I think, why the Patriots have been able to continuously, with every single year and every single year of turnover with teams and rosters, of course, that they're still able to be in the Super Bowl hunt, be in the playoffs, be able to make a difference. Now, I know first off, it's because of their division, and they get the Super Bowl title or division title every year. But in regards to the playoffs, it's still been reputable. I mean, we had Patrick Mahomes this season. We thought he was going to be the one. Rob Parker and other people in the media saying this is the guy who's going to knock off Brady. What did the Patriots do as a team? They defeat Kansas City. Overtime. People can talk about the rules and this and that, but whatever. The rules are the rules right now. Let's say we had the 2018-19 season rules for that 2001 Super Bowl that I actually watched back in full a couple of days ago. Well, one interception returned for a touchdown probably wouldn't have happened. One play that finished the drive would have gotten a passing or a personal reference hitting the quarterback because of a love tap, and some other plays that I can't remember off the top of my head, but those two specifically. The game may have been altered in that way. Rams might have won, whatever. But the rules were what they were then. The rules are what they are now. What are your thoughts on the rules in general and how they've changed over the years through our lives, and why it seems more quarterback friendly?
The quarterback friendliness comes down to the pure fact of how important concussions are in all sports. The protocol is getting very serious. I don't know if you played sports in high school at all, Steve. I used to play basketball, and I can tell you from a very specific practice when I was on JV. We ended up having a practice in the middle school gym because whatever. And when I was in high school, I was the same height. I was a little bit smaller, but think about it. I'm 6 foot. And when we were practicing in those middle school gyms, you know how they have like the padding on the walls? I got my
Yes.
bell ranged against concrete against a wall. I stole the ball from a really good player. I was playing bench at the time, so you know I'm keeping it 100 about this. I stole the ball. I'm on a fast break. I'm like, oh, I got this. I look back just like this. I'm like, oh, the kid's not near me. There's no way. Well, this kid was an athlete, and he was pissed that I just stole the ball from him so sneakily and made him look bad in practice. As soon as I go up for the layup like this, all I feel from behind me is boom, boom, boom. And my head went against the concrete wall. Like, I don't even remember this happening. It was explained to me after. Like, my head hit the concrete wall, and then afterwards, I get up, but I'm not like running in the proper place. I don't know where I am. And it's the same thing with protecting your quarterback. Like, I can't imagine getting your bell rung over and over like that. I remember seeing spots, like colored spots, and everything just felt very weird after the concussion. Like, you feel like you're okay, and you can hear what people are telling you, and you feel okay, but you're really not okay. You need to kind of chill out for a second. My concussion protocol at the time, my coach was telling me a joke, like a dirty joke, to see if I laughed, and he's like, "Oh, you're good, you're all right." That's not no, dude, that's not good enough now. These kids are gonna be sat down, they're gonna have to see a team doctor, follow lights, all types of stuff. And I
Okay.
think that's very important in today's sports for making things safe. And if I could jump on one more thing that you were talking about before with Tom Brady and the whole contract situation and about the money. I think if winning championships is very important to you, you are going to say no to that money. I mean, look at a guy like LeBron James, too, at the same time. You can say whatever you want about him, but he always tried to save his team some money, in my opinion, whether it be taking pay cuts to play with D Wade and Chris Bosh or whoever. And I feel Brady, because he compared himself to him earlier this week, too. And he said, oh, no, LeBron's a better athlete than me. I was just joking around and stuff like that. But they have like similar paths, kind of like they're both at the top of their leagues in both their respective sports. And if you're willing to do the little things like take a pay cut so we can get better guys, because you know your endorsements are paying you probably more money than the league's paying you. LeBron James doesn't need any of the NBA's money. That's the beautiful part about it. He could walk away tomorrow and just be like, I'm getting paid no matter what. So whatever you guys want to do, up to you, man. But I'll walk away from all this and you'll know that I'll still be paid and I'll come out on top. You got to support the guy for that. And same thing for Tom Brady. It's a dream that we all wish we had, that we could just say, yeah, I make enough money. I don't have to be bothered with this. It's a wonderful spot to be in. So I thought that was a really good point by you, though, for how to build a championship team and what it takes sometimes and what you have to be willing to sacrifice to get that. And also for the Chiefs, I feel that they were missing their X factor, as I like to call it, Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt was a big player for them. And I know how important he is to having him on a team. And I feel like it could have been a different game if he was the one playing, but hats off to the Chiefs. Still, they had a heck of a season. I remember I usually hate the Chiefs because I always call them the team that gets like the wild card spot and then waste it, and the Bills
Right.
could have had it. But that's just me being a hater.
And again, so did the Bengals.
Yeah, same thing.
But yeah. And another thing in regards to Tom Brady, and I think why he keeps having his own motivation to want to keep playing, to want to keep winning Super Bowls. Like one would think, You have 5 Super Bowl rings. What gets you pumped and motivated for another Super Bowl? Your 11th appearance. This is old for you. You're used to it. You love it. Obviously, you cherish each one, I'm sure. But what keeps you motivated? I think what does is the fact that in his Super Bowl class, or not Super Bowl class, his draft class, he can still name all the quarterbacks that went ahead of him, and him being that round pick, and being picked up when he was, telling his owner that he made the greatest choice or whatever, best choice he ever made, drafting me, sort of thing, and him having that chip on his shoulder still. I mean, heck, this week or this season, even with the parade or the party thing, with the sending off the Patriots to the Super Bowl, he still said that mantra, we're still here. We're still here. Because people have been saying, whether in the media or fans, that the Patriots aren't the Patriots this year, that they have messed up. And yeah, they've had games where they blew, or by the Miami Miracle gave away. But still, they're still the Patriots. And when the playoffs came, I didn't have any doubt that they would still come to play. So him still believing that, whether he truly does, maybe he doesn't, but even using it as bulletin board for his own team in general, of the we're still here. I know earlier we were talking about with just general trash talking. This is from their own side, taking it from the media and from the fans, of you're not the Patriots anymore. Your time is up. My time is now. The John Cena theme song. And thinking all that. And now the Patriots are here in the Super Bowl. Tom's like, oh, you don't think we're good? You don't think that we still got it? You don't think or believe that myself, I'm Tom freaking Brady, I get shit done. That he won't come into the Super Bowl wanting to prove that point, even though he doesn't need to, but still, that being his motivation factor, because I feel sometimes he needs to find something like that to keep himself highly, highly competitive. I myself in high school, since you were talking about that yourself, playing sports, I played a plethora of sports, and to keep it 100, I did wrestling for 1 year. I freshman basketball, cross country for 3 years, and track. I also was a part of a bunch of organizations like Octagon Club, Math League, and DECA. But in regards to sports, I remember with cross country, always having to train, even when I might not wanted to after school or otherwise, after practice, doing the extra things, trying to get better. While I was practicing for cross country, I was practicing for my debates or for my competitions for DECA, the DECA competitions. Um, 1 year I did sports marketing. Another year I did vehicle and petroleum marketing. So I'm practicing for that. I'm doing schoolwork. I'm also doing my sports. So in my way, in how I was in high school, and being competitive, being one that wanted to do my best at everything, trying to be a perfectionist, though I never really was, but just always wanting to do the best and always wanting to win. I'm in it to win what competition I'm part of. I just finished up doing a Who Done It game on Twitter, a Who Done It game from the TV show Who Done It on ABC, and I was eliminated halfway through the season. I was killed off, quote unquote, and it still kicks me to this very day on why I was eliminated and what I could have done better. Like I'm like a Tom Brady. I'm like an athlete where I lose even in a simple fun game on Twitter. All right, just a fun thing, but I still remember those things. And also, what probably motivates Tom is those losses, those 3 Super Bowl losses. What drives him to not lose this one? Getting the win, fueling him, fueling the team, and other players still on the franchise. So I think, in regards to Tom Brady, him having that added motivation and being the goat, and some fans turning on him, and maybe even some Patriots fans that turned on him in the franchise a little bit during the season, like, oh, maybe we won't make it to the Super Bowl, but hey, we're making it to the playoffs. Even Malik was saying, hey, I don't know, if we're gonna make the Super Bowl, but we're gonna be hella stacked next year with draft picks. Your team's in the Super Bowl. Good luck. See if you win. But yeah, what are your thoughts on all that? In regards to that motivation in Tom Brady, and as I eloquated it from my own life in competition, that being passed up by all those teams, being passed up for all those rounds, still being that fire that burns within his soul.
Yeah, I can see your passion when you do this podcast every single week, and I see you put a lot of work into it. Um, I see the exact same thing that you were talking about with Tom Brady, but to give a different perspective, I think the thing he's chasing is that greatness. I think he wants it to be without a shadow of a doubt. Don't say John Elway, don't say anybody else. I'm the greatest quarterback that ever played this game. I'm the greatest player that ever laced up a pair of cleats. I think that's what Tom Brady's really chasing at this point. Um, and like you said, it's the competition in you. Certain people, I don't care how old I get, when I'm playing rec league basketball or pickup games and stuff like that, I still want to win. I still want to try hard. And am I going to lose? Absolutely. But then afterwards, I'm like, well, what could we have done better? What, maybe I messed that up. What could I have done differently? And it's tough out there to do that, and it's just something that's in your personality. I don't give up. If I lose my keys, I will look for my keys for days before I go out and say, let me go and make another one. It's just something that's inside of you, that you're just like that. And it's a good trait to have. I think sometimes it's bad when you're dealing with other people, but for you on the inside, I think it's a good trait to have always. And I think Brady is chasing that greatness. The question is, will everybody believe it, and what will it take to make someone believe it? I know everyone always was quick to say no, but what does he have to do for you to say yes?
I think I agree with you, and the way that you took it was very awesome, actually, and insightful for me to actually even learn. In regards to how you see with Tom Brady when he's chasing, because I think you're absolutely right, 100% spot on. Because that's really the last thing he's really needing to get, or not needs to get, but wants to get, and being the greatest, and have that stamp. I was going to say stamp of approval, but just one more stamp of his career that I'm the greatest. It's not John Elway. It's not Joe Montana, who was undefeated in Super Bowls. It's not a wide receiver in Jerry Rice. Like, I'm the greatest player in NFL history, let alone greatest quarterback in NFL history. And I think that what you said motivates him to want to play another 4 years, having his contract extended and play until he's 45 or play until he's 60, whatever he wants to do, because he wants that to be his legacy, his football legacy, to be the greatest in the Super Bowl rings and being in the Super Bowl as often as he has for the franchise and doing all this. I think it's hit a spot on there that being one of the greatest motivation for Tom Brady in regards to the other things as well as I brought up. But yeah, I'm like a competitive way too. Sometimes it does get the best of me. Like if I'm playing someone in ping pong or bowling and it's just supposed to be fun with people and I get a little, a little growly, a little antsy about it, then that's on me. But still, I am competitive to playing anything, even golf. I like to play golf in the summer. So anything I do, anything I'm part of, any contest I'm in, I'm in it to win it, and I take it very, very seriously. But back to the Super Bowl, and now it's time to get to the predictions. It's time for, um, I guess money where mouth is, though there is no money being exchanged here. But uh, who do you have winning Super Bowl 53? The LA Rams versus the New England Patriots. Who do you have winning the final score and a prediction for your Super Bowl MVP?
All right. This is the part where it pains me. I know a lot of people have heard me talk all this crap about the Patriots if you've stayed through for the entire show. I'm predicting the Patriots to win this, though. I'm going to go with New England to win. It's on camera, so I can't back away from this. Usually, you'll know who I picked in a bet because I'll start crying if they're losing. I have New England winning this. I'm going to go with a very close game still. I'm going to say that it's going to be 31, and I'll give the Rams 24. I almost gave them 27. We're going to go 31-24. Um, New England wins. And as far as the MVP goes, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady getting that GOAT status. Um, for me, again, like I said, no dog in the fight. Packers aren't in it. I usually my way of going this, another thing to learn about Steve. Conrad's seen me on my wrestling show, learn a little about me personally there. Now he's going to learn another thing about me in regards to NFL. If the Packers aren't in the Super Bowl, I usually always pick the NFC team because the Packers are in the NFC. So I usually go that way. But like Conrad, I'm going, or like Conrad, I'm going with the New England Patriots. I'm going with the Patriots to win this game. And you know what? I don't see it close. You have a young team in the Rams that I have seen from their media sessions. Again, maybe I'm taking too much of it, but I'm one that looks in the details of what they say, how they say it, and in the context of it being said. That to me, it seems that the Rams, at least some of the players, are believing a little bit too much in themselves. Now, it's good to be believing and thinking your team's going to win. You're not going to go out there and say, "Oh, we're going to get our ass kicked." No, you don't want to kick their butts. But it just seems to me that within some of those players, it doesn't seem right to me. Also, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick factor. I don't see it being close. I hope it's close, right? But I don't see it being close. I see New England, and I see New England's defense just suffocating the Rams' offense and making Jared Goff confused. And when you have a young person confused, it also pisses them off. They try to make throws, and that's when you get pick sixes. So I think that the Patriots are going to win comfortably, not in a route, not in a true route, and not the Rams aren't going to have a goose egg, that's for sure. But I'm going to go with the New England Patriots 42. The Los Angeles Rams 17. So I have the Patriots over the Rams 42-17. I guess you can call it somewhat of a stopping a mud hole in them, but definitely won't be a shutout. So I see New England getting the win, getting a big win. I know Malik would be happy to hear that, but definitely that's where I'm going as well with the Patriots getting the win. I just can't. It's one of those I just can't see New England losing, and it's one of those it's hard to bet against Tom Brady to lose a game at any stage, whether it's week by week in the season or in the playoffs, let alone in the Super Bowl. So that's where I'm going for the score and the win. For my MVP, though, since I'm talking about this big blowout win and pick sixes and defense winning the championship for New England and all that awesomeness, Tom Brady would be one of my top guys. But actually, I'm gonna go. Trying to think, I was gonna say something. I was gonna go with defense player. I'm actually gonna go with tight end Rob Gronkowski as my Super Bowl MVP. I was gonna go with quarterback, defensive player, but there's too many to choose from there. But I'm going Rob Gronk to get the MVP. So it'd be different to have somebody else beyond. Then again, Deion Branch won an MVP for the Patriots in the past as well there. So that's where I'm going there. We both have New England getting the win here. It's only gonna be interesting and fun Super Bowl. I look forward to seeing what everybody's thoughts on the prediction of the game.
Let me jump in real quick on your Rob Gronkowski thing. Do you think it's his swan song? Because in my mind, I wanted to say Rob Gronkowski could be player of the game, but I honestly believe that what you said, he could be player of the game, but is he going to retire after all of this? Because I feel like Gronk's going to go soon.
Yeah, Gronk going sooner than Tom. Yeah, if he wins, if they win, I think that the chances are higher. Like, I wouldn't say it's like a mere lock that if they win, Gronk's gonna retire. I think he's at least gonna come back for one more season. But the chances of him retiring go up if they win than if they lose. But I still don't see it happening heading into the 2019 season. Like, I don't see him retiring this offseason. I don't see him making a retirement announcement after the Super Bowl, even if they do win. If he does, he does. But I think he's gonna want to come back again to try to get another ring, go one more year, try one more time. And if they win again next year, then that one for sure is going to be his swan song that season.
I just wanted some perspective on that.
No, that's fine. We do have a little extra time. I don't know how much more time you have on your end, but with some extra time, just throw a little bit of general talk We talked, the NFL and Super Bowl. If you have any other thoughts you wanted to bring up in regards to football or anything, I know said it could be about as we call Q&A, in regards to things, but yeah, anything general, I guess, bring up here in the latter half.
No, I'm just happy that you invited me to be back on the show. I had a real good time talking with you guys last time. It's always fun to be on the show. Very underrated YouTube show and podcast. I appreciate it. I know you talk more than just football, and same thing with me. Like, if people really got to know us, they would probably know that we like a plethora of things, and there's always great knowledge to be shared out there. Especially, I learned some things about you tonight that I didn't know about your high school activities and stuff like that. So that's very cool, and yeah, it was just fun being on the show.
Yeah, it's great to be here. I know it's different here for people that are watching too. How with my wrestling show, I have a cast of characters. I do have co-hosts, but for my football show, I'm a one-man band. I'm Heath Slater, of the NFL podcast here, because it's just me, myself, and I. Usually, then when able to get guests. Maybe next week I'll have guests, some more guests reviewing the show. Maybe Malik will join on, especially if the Patriots win. I'm sure he'll be happy to oblige then. But before I go, I wanted to go get something. So for a second here, you'll be just looking at my couch. But I want to get something here for my guest Conrad. For him to see in regards with his team, in regards with what could be in the future. You never know. Teams improve, seasons improve, franchises improve. A lot of things always improve. You never ever know, right? But how about one Super Bowl in a distant, far, far distant future, or not? We could have the Buffalo Bills against the Green Bay Packers. We could have Bills, Packers, Super Bowl matchup. And that, my friends, if that was the case, this podcast would be an interesting one for that review. If we had the Bills against the Packers in a Super Bowl. I think I know where Conrad's going with Buffalo to get the win. And for me, 13-time world champion Packers. But I'm sure it'd be nice to see the Bills logo in a Super Bowl again. And that certainly would be its own reward. Because hey, I know maybe you would even get one of those Super Bowl jerseys, Josh Allen Super Bowl logo jersey, if that was the case. But I just wanted to share that because I do have the helmets for the teams. Because I do the Packer matchup every single week, up atop my fireplace here. So each week I have the Packer matchup, whether we're the home team or we're the away team, whatever side we're on, I have the matchup for them every week over there. But anyways, I just wanted to share that. Bills, I know not a lot of podcasts are going to be talking about the Bills and Super Bowl week, but there you go. But anyways, I thank you for coming. I'll let you put yourself over, let people know about your podcast and other things that you do, because like you said, you're more than just wrestling talk. There are other things that you are a part of as well.
Yeah, if you guys want to check me out, I am actually the host of the Everything Pro Wrestling Podcast. So shout out to EPW if you guys get a chance. You can give me a follow on Twitter if you want to talk wrestling at EPW Show. Also, you guys can give me a follow for personal stuff at Conrad Cushman, which is my real name. That's CONRAD KUSHMAN. I usually talk about a lot of professional business quotes, but you'll see me on there retweeting about basketball, video games, everything else. You may see some hashtag Bills Mafia love on there. Shout out to my brother, CMath716. He's also a huge football fan. And actually, Steve, if you care to know, my brother would be a great guest for you next season because he loves NFL football. So if you ever wanted to reach out to him, excellent kid. He used to play. He's very good, actually. Excellent football player in high school. Uh,
Heck, you'd be a great guest for next week to finish off the season.
yeah. Reach out to him. CMath716 on Twitter. But like I said, give me a follow at EPW Show if you want to talk some pro wrestling. Anchor.fm/EPW if you want to listen to my podcast. And give me a follow on YouTube. It's type in everything pro wrestling. You'll see the red and black logo. I have about 270 or 80 subscribers. pretty close to what Steve has here. We're trying to grow those channels. So if you guys are watching it or you like it for a little bit, click the subscribe button. Greatly appreciate it, guys. We're just trying to get that content out there for the fans.
Exactly. Like he says on his own show when he does his introduction, wrestling podcast done by wrestling fans, therefore the wrestling fans, there to get their information out there and talk about wrestling. And I already, obviously, with following his personal handle on Twitter, learned that we're kind of in that way of trying to be inspirations to people. I myself, with my new YouTube channel that I still have yet to upload, I have a couple of videos in the fire to upload, but to my new channel called, a YouTube channel called Living with Anxiety. I've been battling anxiety for a couple of years. Still does affect me somewhat day to day, but doing therapy, doing other things to adapt to it. I'm always one with quotes. Heck, for this Christmas, my mom got me a calendar of inspirational quotes for the whole year from presidents and other people. Today's one says, "Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or the present are certain to miss the future." John F. Kennedy, President Kennedy. So, that sort of thing. I just want to read that one off. I'm big into quotes and stuff like that, and always wanted to try to be inspirational to others. And that's what I'm trying to do with my new channel that's away from sports, that's away from TV show talk that I do also on there, about a really serious topic and anxiety and mental health. Because with me living through it and not being from the outside, because sometimes people from the outside say, "Oh, how can you be anxious about this?" Or "How can you, be worried at this moment or this time?" Because to them, it's nonsense. They're in their mind, they don't get it. Like, why is he or her, him or her, anxious or having these issues? Well, it's serious and it's real and it sucks. But I want to inspire people that have gone in it for them to not feel bad about themselves about it, to know that I myself do take it seriously and trying to get better myself, but know that there is that light at the end of the tunnel. And just like the Bills franchise, things can get better. And for your life, things can get better. And that's what I want that channel to be all about as I continue my continuation battling anxiety, trying to be that Stephen within to come out, so to speak, for you yourself and whatever you're dealing with, anxiety, depression, whatever. Know that you have support system, people that love you, and know that you do have self-worth. And also know that if anybody's trying to tell you that this should be just something that you should just be able to get over with, it's not that easy. And you know it, and in time they will learn that as well. So never be discouraged if people keep saying that and you're not able to do that, because in the end, it's not that simple. It takes a plethora of steps. So again, welcome to check that new channel out. Right now it has 0 videos, but soon I'll have those videos up there. Living with Anxiety, kind of in a vlog style form, kind of channel over there. But I really have to get up and put in those videos on the channel. But anyways, go over to his channel, go over there for the podcast, and subscribe to his channel. Ring the bell, know when he does his videos live or otherwise. As always, for people here, if you're watching for the first time, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. Even if you're here just for football, if you're here just for wrestling, whatever, I do appreciate it. Or if you're here for some of my TV shows, this week, tomorrow morning, I still have my reviews to do for Riverdale, This Is Us as well. And then Saturday morning, I'll be doing my review for Last Man Standing. That does air Friday night. So I definitely have my TV show still to do for this week. But I thank Conrad for being here. I thank everybody watching live. And next week, maybe I'll be able to have that other guy that he brought up as a guest and talk about the Super Bowl. Maybe even have Malik here, or have whoever is interested and wants to or able to talk about the aftermath of the Super Bowl and how everything went down. I'm certainly looking forward to the Super Bowl. Hope everybody has a fun time enjoying watching the game. If you are going to watch the game, drive safely to your destinations. If you're going out to a party, obviously don't drink and drive, blah, 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 stuff like that. But have fun. That's the point of it. Having fun with friends and family, or whoever you consider friends and family in your life. So have a blessed day. Enjoy the weather in your area, because the weather in my area is, cold. But above all else, as always, take care.